Hey guys, welcome. Whoa. Alpha Trion? Dude, you are looking rip. I mean, you're really buff. Oh, thank you, young man. I've been hitting the gym more. It shows, man. It really shows. In fact, it shows so well that we're going to take a look at you and give you the spotlight in the latest GotBot True review. And in fact, we're going to look at all of your modes. Oh, really? All of them? Yeah, all of them. All 5 or 6. What? Yeah, 5 or 6. You'll see what I mean. Stick around, folks. And we're going to focus on the Transformers Titans Return Voyager class Alpha Trion. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. And as always, I'm going to ask you to check out Machinery Man, the Everything Factor. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Look through the channel and see what playlists catch your fancy. And because you never know what's going to come along. And we're going to focus on this guy. I'll say this now too, I picked this guy up locally at a little hobby shop, Downtown Comics. If you live in my area, you've probably heard of that business. It's what a treasure trove. I love visiting that place. I've only kind of recently discovered them for Transformers, but you know, a lot of Marvel and DC and things that you don't kind of find everywhere else. I just said we're going to look at all 5 or 6 modes. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But we're going to start off as we always do with his paint apps. Now, this is one of those cases where I have to say paint apps and representation of the character kind of rolled into one. It's the sort of thing where I look at it and I say, yeah, the colors are there. The silver, the purple, that weird pinkish, reddish, maroonish, weird fuchsia-ish type of color. Yeah, they're all there. They're all there. That's sort of Alpha Trion's head, kind of. I see what they were going for, but it's kind of a rough, you know, it's kind of a rough approximation of the character. I'm going to give it overall about a 5. About a 5. Now, that being said, you know, are there ways that this could have been improved? Sure. The actual little horn piece up here on the head of the lion mode, that could have been silver, and the mane could have been purple. The silver here on his chest could have been more of a purpley color. Actually more of a light purple, more like a lavender type of color. There could have been some white details put on his beard and around his eyes. Down on his shins, where we have the beast rear legs, they could have also been a purple color. There's things that could have been done to improve him. The arms themselves could have been more of that fuchsia color, with the outer arm here being more red. It's like the colors are there, but it's like they're reversed from the positions they should be in for the most part. So I appreciate it, but it is certainly a bit of a departure from what I would have expected for Alpha Trion. We'll get into poseability, playability, and transformation in a few seconds. Let's take him off screen for a moment. He, of course, comes with a box that looks like this. It's a box, and it's a nice picture of Alpha Trion there, a nice picture of Alpha Trion on the side, and on the back you see him and his official modes. Up here it says that he combines with Sovereign, and that he gets immeasurable power from that, because Sovereign has the, what is it, energy of Primus within him. I do think that's cool. We have the ever popular collector card. For this incarnation of Alpha Trion, that looks fantastic. It's beautiful art. I love his sword. And then we go to the back, and the back has tech specs that I think are absolutely idiotic here. Alpha Trion is infinite everything, and then Sovereign is infinite everything, and you put them together and they're double infinite. I don't know, is that a thing? Is double infinite a thing? You know, you see that and it seems like he's more powerful than Fort Max. I don't know how the character is going to play out in the comics, but to me, he's a smart old man who's past his prime. To me, that's Alpha Trion. But that's just me. Then we have his Titan Master head. That, of course, being this little guy, Sovereign. See if I can bring Sovereign up closer here. Sovereign, he is pinned at the hips and at the knees. He has the exact same articulation with the arms on little ball joints and the head on a little ball joint. He lacks paint apps. I mean, the face is just a red. Again, he's about a 2 overall. We put his arms down. We fold him up for his transformation. And this is the head that we get for Alpha Trion. I can sort of dig it. I think it probably is reminiscent more of a young Alpha Trion. I don't know if it would necessarily go all the way back to A3, but certainly a younger Alpha Trion. Why his facial hair grew as he got older, I'll never know. Isn't the guy made of metal? Isn't he? Just saying. But that is a good Alpha Trion head sculpt. It would have been nice for the beard itself to have a little bit of white, around the eyes to have a little bit of white. I did consider customizing this. I don't think I'm going to bother because it's pretty good as it is. This is obviously a stylized version of Alpha Trion anyway. So we will take that back out of it. And in fact, I will actually place that back in, if I can get it. I'll say this, Sovereign is a tight fit into the head slot. And here we have Alpha Trion back again. I mentioned I love his sword, and I do love his sword. It is this glorious translucent orange with a purple handle. Unfortunately, in robot mode, there's nowhere to really store it other than his hand. Now, you do have a couple of holes back here on his arms, and it will slot in there, but if you move his arm forward, you're going to knock it out of that slot. I think that the purple that's on it might be painted over the clear translucent, to be honest with you. He also comes with this, I don't know if it's a blaster or a grabber. I don't know what this is. You know what I use it as? Of course, you could take Sovereign and put him in here. He holds in okay, and I guess Sovereign could drive this thing around, I suppose. Here's what I use it as. There's a hole way back right here on the purple. There's a peg right there, so I put it in as a rear skirt piece, personally speaking, since he has a front skirt piece. He looks more like I feel like that this is an Alpha Trion that would fit better in the, you know, Transformers The Last Night film franchise. Like, I feel like it's a stylized type of look like that. Like, I think that this guy would look great next to, like, the Age of Extinction Leader class Optimus. I think that they would match really nice, to be honest with you. That being said, articulation. Well, the head can go left and right. It has the same sort of larger joint section up in the head as Astro Train and Sentinel Prime has, where the whole thing can move. He has these earpieces. They can push down if you don't like them being up and lock in. So you can have his head just up like this without those pieces next to it. I kind of dig the pieces next to it. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I sort of dig the pieces up next to it. If you take those down, the head has a greater range of motion, obviously. But I feel like that those pieces kind of help elongate his Alpha Trion ears, I guess. Alpha Trion ears. I don't know. Maybe that should be a hashtag. The arms can go all the way around. They can go out about, you know, not out the furthest. They can go out to about there. It's not the greatest range there, but he's an old man. You got to expect him to have some creaky joints, you know. Super deep elbow bend, that's fantastic. A swivel at the wrist, a bicep swivel, all that's great. No waist because of transformation. That's a bit of a shame, but I understand it. The legs can go way back. I expected them to be on ratchets. They don't seem to be. It seems to be like a hinge joint. Way back. I unpegged his waist there. You can bring them forward. If you bring them out to the side of the skirt piece, you get a little further forward, but it's off to the side. It's a bit weird. It's not the best forward motion. Bring the skirt piece out a bit, and you're going absolutely straight. You're only going to get that far. You know, it's not great, but a nice 90-degree knee, and anything down here at his feet, well, they can go forward and back, but not side to side. Overall, because of the limits with the front, normally he stands well though, even though that didn't prove it. With the limits of the front skirt, I'm going to have that give him a bit of a knock, to be honest with you. And the limits of his arms, not able to go out fully. And I don't really see another way to do it. Like, there's not another joint there for them to go out on. It doesn't seem anyway. I'm going to give it about a 7.5. About a 7.5. But at the same time, how much, you know, combat are you really going to get Alpha Trion to do? Can he get in some dynamic poses? Yeah, he can get in some dynamic poses. I mean, you know, as limited as it is, here's his sword up over his head. He can, from here, he can dual wield it. And let's just, I don't know, let's bring, I just knocked off a piece of his front paw. That was my doing, but I will talk about that later on, to be perfectly honest with you. That is something I'm going to revisit. Let's just take a leg and put that one back into the side. And let's try bending that one a little bit. And see if we can make him stand. You know, I mean, he can do a semi-dynamic pose, I guess. You know, it is what it is. Taking all of that down and taking that out of his hand, we finally get to transformation. So far we have, you know, a 5 for look. We have a 7 for his poseability, playability, and even the 7 is probably kind of generous. Right now he's about a 6. Right now he's about a 6, and that might be disappointing to some people. But I'll explain more about that toward the end. What about transformation? Well, we have a whole bunch. This is mode number 1. That's what we're going to call it. Mode number 2 is going to be going from this into his lion mode. And how do we do that? Well, we take the arm and we turn it, and we turn the fist so that's facing up. And we collapse all that together. There is a, I guess I should point this out, there is a little tab. I thought that there was a little tab. There's a little tab on the main that goes into a little part there to make sure it tabs together, but honestly this is going to kind of go up in place anyway, and we have that done. We just put his arms up into his shoulders. We're going to take Sovereign off, make life easy on ourselves, and we're going to push these pauldron pieces down. You really do have to kind of push down on them hard for them to stay in. They like to pop up, but you'll hear them click when they stay in. Next, we're going to take this whole piece on his back here, and we're going to flip it up on this purple armature and bring it right over the top where we just untabbed Sovereign from. Next, we're going to take the shoulder pieces and bring it out and bring it out. There is a gray armature right here. This gray armature is what we want to deal with. So open the head all the way out. Just like that. And I keep saying just like that. I gotta stop saying that. I was doing good at a war on that, and somewhere I fell down along the way. These will come to the back and you sort of angle them a little bit. on this armature and angle this one a little bit, and you want to bring the two halves of the head together. There's a bunch of tabs and pegs and they will tab in, and we have a line head. And I think that the line head looks amazing. I think that the sculpting on the mane and whatnot looks fantastic. We'll take this little, whatever this thing is again, we're going to take that off if you still have it back here. And now we come to the body and we extend it out all the way. And we're going to take this paw and bring it down, and you just saw one of the weaknesses. These front paw pieces love to just pop off completely. It's easy enough to pop back on, but it's just a pain. You shouldn't have to pop it back on. Next, we're going to want to collapse the body. And when we do it, we have two little starts, here and here. And this front skirt piece has two little notches in it that are supposed to slot up onto these two little starts. I don't find it does it perfectly. It more guides up. I don't find, at least on mine, that it locks in perfectly. So we bring all that up and we bring that in just like that. Next, what do we want to do next? Well, you take this foot and you flip it all the way back and up on the back of his leg. Flip it all the way up onto the back of his leg. Take the beast foot and bring it all the way down, and the beast foot and bring it all the way down. And then bend his knee and bend his knee and boom. We'll do that. Boom. There you go. Alpha Trion in his lion mode. Obviously, you have the little like cockpit section up here that you can open up, and we can naturally put Sovereign in there and close that back up. It's a little bit of a tight fit. What do you do in this mode with the pieces? Well, first you have the weird little gun thing that can still go down underneath, to be honest with you, and I mean, you didn't really need to remove it to transform him. I just did it for the sake of people that don't have it in there. And his sword becomes his tail. There's a shock. Now, I'll say this. There's, back here, there's a little notch up right there. And that little notch is supposed to house basically this little indented section on the sword up right here. Some people complain and say that that doesn't hold very securely. The handle itself will actually fit into the space back here if you want it more secure. Mine fits well up into the little section on top, no problem, but it does keep it angled up, like this, basically. If you put it into the section that's kind of between his legs where there's hollow plastic, this is one time when hollow plastic is a good thing, you can actually get it to like angle down a little more naturally, looking like a tail. You know, I think that looks a little more like a natural tail, personally speaking. I dig this mode. Breaking news, well, not exactly. I meant to do something before I started looking at this guy, and I didn't, so I thought that this would be a great place to fit it in. I added one paint app to this guy, and I did it in this mode, and it's one that a lot of people have added as well. I'm just going to put his feet up here out of the way, or his paws, and I'm going to bring this in and try and show you closer. The eye. I painted the eye of the lion mode gold. That's where it's located. And on this side, you should also be able to see the gold. So I just wanted to quickly take a second to point that out before we go on. Naturally, you're not going to see it in the rest of the review because I did that. I did this after the fact, but there you go. The one app that I did add, and I think it makes just enough of a difference in this mode to make it worthwhile. we never saw what Alpha Trion would transform into, so why not? Why not this? Why not this? You know, I guess I can dig it. I guess I can dig it okay. So we're going to open that up and take that out, and we're going to take the weapon piece off from underneath. And we're going to go to his next official mode. This will be mode number 3 is his next official mode. And actually from here, it's not too bad to do it, to be perfectly honest with you. It's pretty easy, for the most part anyway. Again, we extend the whole body out. And we're going to take these animal legs and we're going to bring them all the way down. And take this animal leg. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't do... See how easily that popped off again? I didn't do his articulation in this mode. In this mode, the head does nothing. The front legs can go out about that far and back, you know, to here. This part likes to move and fall off. They cannot open up any wider than that. The back legs can open up wider. The tail moves up and down. These little feet here can move. I guess the leg can go back like this if you wanted to. It's like a lot of, you know, Transformers that turned it into beasts. He's a little bit better than a brick. Okay, going on, we extend the body out again. And we fold back this, and we fold back this leg. And bring that up around. Next we come to the head and we split it apart and kind of just open that up for now. So he sort of looks all opened up like this for now. We're going to bring the body, well, bring the legs down, and we're going to bring the body up as if we were putting him back in robot mode, which means hinging back on this arm here, which is solid, by the way. It doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything like that. We fold up the back paws. We open the feet all the way out straight this time. And we fold the legs like this. How do you know which way to fold the legs? Well, you have a bunch of little starts up here that Titan Masters can stand on, and you also need these flaps to be able to come up. So that's kind of how you know which way to put the legs. Take the flaps and bring them up, and then put the legs together. Come underneath, and there's a little arm here to come down. That's sort of a landing gear, I guess we'll call it. Take the cockpit section and bring it right up over, again on this purple armature. Bring it right up over there. Take the arm and you want to bring it down on the side, same over here. And when you bring it down, there's a little tab, little gray tab in the main. It goes into a little hole right there. It can be not a pain to line up. It's not. It's just you got to make sure you line it up. It's a bit of a pain to line it up from a distance, like I'm trying to do here. And boom, there you go. He is in his space cruiser mode, I guess. I kind of dig this mode though, because it looks like something Cybertronian, and he was an old Cybertronian that stayed on the planet. I don't see why he would have really had an Earth mode. I kind of dig this. You could put Titan Masters all over the top of it. In fact, not only can you put a Titan Master in the cockpit, but you can also place the blaster thingy machine there, and now it's kind of a gunship, I guess. And you can take the sword and put it on one of the sides like that. It's all right. It's not the best storage for the sword. It would have been nice if there was somewhere underneath to put it. When I first transformed this guy, I forgot to take out the landing gear in the front section there. So, what can I say? Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to do that. That's his 3 modes. This doesn't really have any articulation. It's solid. You could fly it. You know, it's pretty cool that way. To each their own, folks. To each their own. Now we're going to take both of those off again. I mentioned a few modes. This guy also has some fan-made base modes that I've seen, you know, kicking around from a bunch of places, really. And I'm sure that there's more than the few that I'm about to show you. These are pretty quick, pretty easy, to be honest with you. We're going to open these sides out. We're going to open these sides out like that, and we're going to angle them like this, and we're going to do, hold on, like that. That's one that I've seen. Okay, it's sort of a base, I suppose. It's more of a tower, I think, than it is anything else. Closing this up, I, however, like to take these legs out, turn them this way, turn them this way, angle it this way, and angle it this way. I like to turn these around. If I can get him to stand like it. There you go. I like to angle those around. I like to take the sword piece and place it in there again like a tower, and then I put this gun piece on right there, and that's a base mode that, you know, it works for me. It might not for you, and that's cool too. After all, it doesn't really have to. It's whatever your imagination can come up with. So we're going to take this back out of it, and we're going to take that back out of it, and we will go into another mode. Now, to be fair, the next one I actually saw from, I think it was Bolt Matrix, and you know, I enjoy that guy, and he put the legs up like that, if I'm not mistaken, and took the body out like this, I do believe, and the arm sections back like that, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the way the base mode looked. And the sword piece again was able to go in, and it looked like that. You know, certainly another option, no doubt about it. And the last one that I'm going to show you is sort of a variation on this one, to be perfectly honest with you. It's sort of a variation on this one where we don't really need to change too much of anything. We're going to take this out, and we're going to take the body and swing it. Is it up around this way? I think it's up around this way. And oh wait, I think these legs are perhaps supposed to come out like that. Maybe. Trying to remember now how I saw this one. These go up like this, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they go like this. And they go like this, I think. I think that's the other base mode that I've seen. sort of like that, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe I might have seen this put up here, and I might have seen the sword in his hand possibly. I'm not 100% sure now where the sword was located. We'll say, put the sword there and angle it up a little bit like that. I think that's the other one that I saw, kind of. I probably don't have it exactly right. There, I put this foot paw thing out. I think that's the other one that I saw. So there you go. There's like 3 or 4 different base modes that I've seen kicking around. Try your own. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Anyway, overall, what do I think of this guy? His transformation is easy. You can manipulate him ever so many ways. I'm giving it a 10. I love his transformation. It's great. But of course, we're going with a 5. So overall, this guy is at best a 7. At best. That being said, before now, we had a unofficial slew of Alpha Trion, inspired figures. The only official ones that I know of are the 2 that came from BotCon, I believe. One was actually a repaint of Vector Prime. The other was, I think, based on a Beast Wars mold, and that was called Alpha Trizer, if I'm not mistaken. This is, to the best of my knowledge, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is really the first official representation that we've gotten of one of the greatest characters in the history of the franchise. And it was high time we got him. So just for him being overdue, I'm going to have to pop him up to a 9. He should be in your collection, even though he's not perfect. Everyone deserves a little Alpha Trion in their life. That's it. Thanks for dropping by and giving me a little bit of your valuable time, and I look forward to the next time you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.